McGraw Hill Ascent Audio presents The Art of Bouncing Back. Find your flow to thrive at work and in life, anytime you're off your game. By Darleen, Coach Dar Santore. Narrated by Darleen, Coach Dar Santore, and Rachel L. Jacobs.
Dedication to my mom. As a child, I'd spend the summers going to my mom's beauty shop. She would take me to this little independent bookstore nearby, R.J. Julia Booksellers in Madison, Connecticut, to pick out something to read while I waited for her to be finished with work. She would point to the shelves and say, "One day, your book's going to be in here." In 2012, when I first shared with her the news that I was finally going to make that dream a reality, no one was more excited for me than she was. While my mom has since passed, I've felt her encouragement throughout this entire writing process. Mom, you were the true embodiment of bouncing back. Your resilience, grit, sense of purpose, and ability to move forward still inspire me to this day. Linny, this is for you.
Forward. Almost 5 years ago, I had received a message from this woman who was the leadership and mental skills coach for the Phoenix Suns. She shared how a few of my books had made such an impact on her and the athletes she worked with that she wanted to order more for the locker room. This led me to learning more about this woman known to many as Coach Dar. After learning more, I quickly asked her to share her story and be a speaker on my virtual Power of Positive Summit. A month after that, she and I were sharing the stage together as keynote speakers at a sports and faith conference. It was then that I got to truly experience what many have come to know as a dose of Dar. Her faith, energy, and passion for what she does exuded throughout the conference room. This pint-size powerhouse had much to share. What stood out to me was that she was giving this speech just weeks after having a stroke. If that is not a great example of resilience and bouncing back, I don't know what is. When she went up to speak, she shared that sometimes her words don't come out correctly, and that she might have to sit because she loses her balance due to the stroke. In true Dar form, she pressed on and did great. It is no mistake that she has now written a book, The Art of Bouncing Back, because her life, as you will learn, is an exceptional example on how to do just that. Bounce back. And after 26 years helping thousands of people bounce back from all kinds of adversity, she is sharing for the first time her exact game plan and principles on how to do just that. This book is filled with the exact techniques she uses with professional athletes and CEOs around the world. And now, you get to have access to them too. Her character and resilience are unmatched, and her love for people and passion to help everyone bounce back from adversity has led to this amazing and life-changing book. I'm so thankful she wrote it, and am fired up you are listening to it. It has been a blessing getting to know Coach Dar both as her mentor and friend, and know you will enjoy learning from her as well. Life gets hard. We can't escape that. But we can learn how to bounce back from it all. John Gordon, best-selling author and keynote speaker, author of 26 books, including multiple bestsellers, The Energy Bus, The Carpenter, Training Camp, You Win the Locker Room First, and The Power of Positive Leadership.
Introduction. I like to say that setbacks don't define you, and comebacks only refine you. Dar. On the cover of this book is a bouncy ball. You have no idea how much time and consideration were put into that bouncy ball. It really is the best illustration of how adversity can show up in our life and create more potential than problems. If you've ever played with the bouncy ball, you know that the harder you throw it against a surface, the higher the ball bounces back. It's the same with life. The harder our adversities are, the higher we can bounce back. I specialize in helping some of the best get up and move forward from some of life's most challenging situations, including losing their position to a new player to finding a leadership position on the team, floundering professionally to then getting a C-suite position, being a leader who's been thrown off their game to regaining confidence and building more influence than ever, running a foundation with massive cracks to rebuilding on solid footing, experiencing financial devastation to regaining miles of margin, being in a slump in sports to coming back and being named an all-star, facing a season-ending injury to coming back better than before, both on and off the court as a player, parent, and human. These are all true stories from my career, working with some of the most elite athletes and accomplished CEOs in the world. They call me Coach Dar. Put simply, my job is to help people stay mentally sharp and get people back into the game of life after a gut punch, or several, has put them on the sidelines. I combine science, psychology, leadership, and 3 decades of professional wisdom to change the way they respond to challenges, obstacles, and mental blocks. I've worked with accomplished CEOs who have suffered massive business losses, divorces, folks starting again personally and professionally, entrepreneurs catching their breath after a major setback, pro athletes in the top 1% of their game, and groups, faith-based and beyond, that have one more chance to pull it together. I have also coached leaders across the globe at Kennedy's, Comcast, the San Diego Padres, the Phoenix Suns, the Indiana Pacers, Indiana Fever, Charter Spectrum, Taylor Morrison, Big Machine Records, Rodan and Fields, Sunrider, John Gordon Power of Positive Summit, Powerhouse Women, Integrating Women Leaders, Origami Owl, YMCA, Mobile Mini Solutions, Path North, Vail Resorts, and Georgetown University, as well as players within the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, Major League Baseball, MLB, the National Football League, NFL, the National Basketball Association, NBA, the National Hockey League, NHL, and many more. They all understand the extreme value in helping their organizations learn how to bounce back faster from disruptions. I share all of this with you because I know you need to trust me if you're going to take the coaching I'm offering and put it into practice. This book lays out the system I've used to help all of these incredible human beings. It's called the Bounce Back Coaching System, and together we'll work through the 9 specific principles of this system so you can bounce back from anything. Because this is something I need you to know. No matter what's going on in your life right now, no matter who is at fault, who is to blame, you really can bounce back from anything. The 9 principles of the Bounce Back Coaching System. My Bounce Back Coaching System takes you through 9 principles, each of which delivers specific strategies and techniques that allow you to turn setbacks into setups. They include Principle 1, Embracing the Suck. Principle 2, Understanding who you are. Principle 3, Seeking and applying feedback. Principle 4, Discovering your why power. Principle 5, Creating your bounce back environment. Principle 6, Activating emotional intelligence. Principle 7, Reframing setbacks. Principle 8, Cultivating grit. Principle 9, Turning the page. Each principle will deliver proven and science-backed tools to help you respond to challenges, obstacles, and mental blocks in helpful and productive ways. Through exercises in each chapter, you'll experience self-discovery and the deep work needed to make it through and come out better in your current and future setbacks. If you've done similar exercises already, I want you to push those to the side and start over. Do a reset. Some of the most important mental work you'll ever do is in the deconstruction of long-held beliefs and principles that no longer serve you, or maybe some that never served you at all. In Principles 1 through 6, you'll learn how to pour your emotional foundation. Get ready to embrace the suck. Get a deep understanding of your fundamental hardwiring. Know everything you need to know about feedback, including why it's so important to growth and bouncing back. Connect with your why power, create your own bounce back environment, and activate your emotional intelligence. Through each of these principles, you'll learn so much about yourself and will be able to identify the exact pivot that needs to happen to push forward and make you mentally tougher so you could handle future adversity better. In Principles 7 and 8, you'll apply your knowledge of previous principles so you could start reframing your setbacks and cultivating the grit needed to bounce back even better from each one. And finally, in Principle 9, you'll learn how to turn the page, even in the toughest of situations and relationships. And you'll be fully equipped with the tools, motivation, and inspiration you need to start again. This is where you go from just surviving to thriving again. From pain to purpose, from struggle to strength, and from adversity to advancement. Additional resources, videos, and tools to support your reading journey are available at coachdar.com/new-book. Through these 9 principles, not only will we build a rock-solid foundation, we will also break down how you operate day to day to reveal how and where you're really showing up or not showing up. We'll focus on the accountability, growth mindset, thought habits, and positive patterns that will help and enable you to reframe the way you view obstacles going forward. You'll start to see them as opportunities, giving you the ability to move from pain to purpose in any situation. We'll also work on your mental game. Whether you're coming to this book to grow personally or to help your employees or teammates do the same. I want you to think about building a house. Any stable home requires first pouring a solid foundation. It can't be a foundation that's slapped together hastily, and it can't be a foundation based on the measurements of someone else's house. The foundation of your home is your mental game, and the practices throughout this book are necessary to build your strong foundation. I know that you're busy, and you may think that you can skip over some of the more abstract practices or exercises. But if you skip over them, you aren't pouring yourself the most secure, stable foundation. You'll remain stuck, your house falling further into the ground. So do the work. You'll come out better on the other side because of it. What you get from applying these principles. The results you will see after reading this book and applying the 9 principles to your life will help you immensely when you put them into practice. I know that because I've seen incredible results of this work time and time again. 3 of the most game-changing results happen to be flow, resilience, and raising the bar, a mental elevation of thinking and standards. I will talk to each of these throughout this book, which is why I feel it's critical that you understand exactly what I mean when I use each term. So let's define each now. Flow. Flow happens when you are completely and fully present in the task at hand. You lose track of time. Every movement is fluid, your mind is clear, and your thoughts are on standby. You are at one with your body and mind. There is no separation or compartmentalization. It happens when you're clear on your vision, committed to raising the bar every day, and using your gifts, talents, and skills to align with your purpose. Flow is how you do your best work and achieve greatness. Resilience. Think of resilience as your elasticity capacity, your ability to stretch yourself further mentally and emotionally when overcoming challenges. Resilience is necessary to recover quickly from difficulties, And as you build up your resilience, you become more apt at bouncing back from tough situations. Raising the bar. Every one of my clients will tell you that they always hear me say, raise the bar, during a coaching conversation. Raising the bar is synonymous with achieving greatness. It's more than just another sports or business cliche. It's a mental elevation that creates big results. When you mentally raise the bar, you increase the standard for yourself daily. You push yourself to do what you do well and make the most with every set of 24 hours you're given. As a result of the work you will do with this book, flow, resilience, and mental elevation, aka raising the bar, will become accessible to you in even the toughest of situations. You'll be able to bounce back from adversity and move forward thanks to each and every skill you add to your mental skills toolbox. You'll also be prepared to take massive action so you can outlast and outperform the version of you yesterday and dominate your life and the space you operate in. All thanks to the hard work you put in to making that your new reality. I want the 9 principles in this book to help you be able to recover quickly from setbacks and plateaus so you can live a life with more flow. I want you to be resilient in the face of adversity. I want you to be able to achieve greatness by mentally raising the bar for yourself and those around you. And based on experience, I know all of that can happen for you. If you can learn the art of bouncing back when the gut punches of life hit, they won't hit as hard and you won't stay down as long. So let's get to it.
Principle 1. Embracing the suck. A setback often moves us to a road that is even worse, but leads to an even better destination. Mokokoma Mokonuana, author of The Confessions of a Misfit. Have you ever noticed that when life punches you in the gut, you can lose your sense of humor and definitely your sense of purpose? When I wake up every morning, I have 2 thoughts in this order. Dar, you get to go awaken greatness in yourself and others as far and wide as God allows today. So go live your mission. And then, be grateful for today, because any day can be your last, or the day you have your 4th stroke, so say the important things today. You heard that, right? 4th stroke? Up until this point, you may have pinned me as an ultra-positive and enthusiastic mental toughness coach and occupational therapist who is always moving forward with the spirited delivery of an NFL football coach. While that's not wrong, it's not the whole truth either. The truth is, I've had more than one major setback in my life that almost kept me from bouncing back, much less moving forward. I have been forced to practice what I preach. I say forced, as there were several times when I was not able to listen to my own best advice because the gut punches took everything out of me. Setback 1. I had my 1st stroke. Setback 2. I was told I couldn't have kids. Setback 3. I went through a divorce. Setback 4. I had my 2nd stroke. Setback 5. I had my 3rd stroke, which took away my ability to speak fluently. Setback 6. My insurance wouldn't cover my rehabilitation. Setback 7. I had no speaking gigs to help pay for my big medical bills. Setback 8. My mother died. Setback 9. My father died. Setbacks suck. They can feel like you are tumbling down a staircase with no landing at the bottom. The bottom seems elusive as you keep hitting one setback after another. When you list out your setbacks like this, They stretch out like mile markers along the road of life. Of course, this isn't an exhaustive list. Lord knows there have been many more. Just like you, my life is marred with painful experiences. People say, Dar, how did you bounce back from all that? And my answer is always the same. What is the alternative? Even after her own stroke and 11 surgeries, my mom would tell us, if we are still alive, then we still have a chance and a reason to be here. I truly believe that. For me and for you. Refer to Figure 1.1. Common setbacks: job loss, divorce, health crisis or major injury, traumatic experiences, family conflicts, financial hardships, career plateau, questioning faith. While setbacks make us feel like we're falling downstairs, often with no last step in sight, they don't have to feel that way. A setback is an interruption in progress, not a permanent landing. Building up your mental bounce-back skills will help you feel more in control during tumultuous times. There are two things that make it possible for me to bounce back and move forward: knowing my why and controlling my environment, both of which we will fully explore in the next 2 chapters. In this chapter, we will focus on embracing the suck. I'll say it again. Setbacks suck. Setbacks happen when you least expect them. I woke up in a hospital bed. Again. It wasn't my first rodeo. I'd already suffered 2 strokes prior to this. The hospital bed, the machines beeping, the flurry of activity all too familiar. In a strange way, I woke up this 3rd time with a sense of calm. But before I tell you how this story ends, let me start over, at the beginning. My first stroke didn't come with this same calm. I've always been active. I played field hockey, ran track, lifted weights with my dad in our basement starting in the 8th grade, and have continued working out regularly my entire life. Knowing this, when I hurt my back lifting a patient, I decided to go to the chiropractor to get an adjustment. I'd done all kinds of sciatica treatment up until that point, and nothing had worked. This was my last-ditch effort. I stopped in for a visit, got adjusted, and moved on to the next task. Over the next couple of days, I started experiencing moments of dizziness and blurred vision. I felt off, blaming it on working too much and being tired. Then, about a week later, I was working on a Saturday, walking down the hallway toward the stairs. All of a sudden, my world flipped upside down. The floor was the ceiling, and the ceiling was the floor. My vision was wonky, and I knew something had to be going on with my head. It was like my body had forgotten how to walk. I was frozen. My vision stayed inverted as I felt for the wall beside me. My muscle memory must have kicked in then, because my legs started moving me down the hallway to the staircase where I walked down. Then it was like a light turned on in the dark, and I could see again. I upgraded my self-diagnosis from exhaustion to a sinus infection. I'm just sick, I convinced myself. I've got compacted sinuses or something. Meanwhile, I was working in the stroke unit, so I should have been thinking differently. When I got to my office area, I called my dad. Dad, my vision's been weird. Can you pick me up from work? I don't think I should drive. To this day, my dad says one of his biggest regrets in life is that he didn't drive me straight to the emergency room after I told him what happened. Over the next few days, my symptoms would come and go. I started taking Sudafed and felt groggy all the time. One night I started vomiting for no apparent reason, and my suspicions grew that there was something going on, something more than a sinus infection. The following morning, I couldn't get my bearings. I started to get what we call neural nystagmus, which is where your eyes start to shake uncontrollably for spells at a time. The truth was that my denial of what was really happening became painfully self-evident. Something is wrong. Neurologically wrong. I yelled for my husband and told him I needed help. Get me a bowl to throw up in. I couldn't even make it out of the bed to the trash can or toilet. Poor guy. He was so nervous seeing me, his strong, capable wife in so much agony that he brought me a colander. You know, one of those bowls with holes in them that you can drain water from pasta. Even in the middle of this, we laughed. He loaded me up in the car and headed toward the hospital. I started going over the checklist in my head, the one I used with my stroke patients. There's 3 things you've got to tell them, I advised. The first is, this is not the flu. The second, since I'm staggering around and throwing up, is that I'm not drunk. And the last, don't let them send me home. Something is wrong. Sure enough, they tried to say it was the flu, accused me of being drunk, and tried to send me home. After basically forcing myself into being seen for further tests, I was misdiagnosed with a tumor growing behind my ear. They thought this tumor was cutting off the blood supply to my brain and causing my symptoms. The next misdiagnosis I got was encephalitis, an infection in the tissue of the brain. I'm a take-charge personality. So, once I got the impression that no one really knew what was going on, I went out on my own and found a private neurologist to evaluate me. He said, Dar, think. What happened? Did you get in an accident? Did you fall? There must have been some sort of trauma. I was like, look, Doc, if I fell and hit my head, I think I'd remember that. Thankfully, he was relentless and had me retrace my steps. Almost as an afterthought, I offered, well, I got adjusted at the chiropractor. Immediately, he stood up. Dar, we've got to get you into another MRI right now. I think they ripped an artery in your brain. I watched everyone's faces as they read my MRI. I knew he'd been right. The bad news, the doctor said, is that you have a blood clot in your brain. It could dislodge any day. But there is some good news. Scar tissue could form around the clot that could hold it in place. What happens if the blood clot moves out of place? I asked. You could die. Okay, I thought. Not that this news wasn't alarming. It was. I just wasn't mentally capable of fully absorbing it at that moment. Situational numbness began to set in. The processing of this news would take years for me to fully understand my emotions. Anything else I should know? Yes. Don't run anymore. Don't cough too hard. Don't do anything that could raise your blood pressure. Don't strain or push too hard, especially when exercising. I felt like I was falling downstairs with every don't. Doc, I said. That's a lot of don'ts.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?